Welcome everyone to our event today, the La Jolla Program, A Facilitator's Perspective, which is our interview with Will Stillwell. A very warm welcome to you, Will. Thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be.
Really lovely to have you here today, and a warm welcome to everyone who's joining us online today. Hopefully you can hear and see as well, and also have access to the chat room. So if you've got any comments or questions that you'd like to put to Will, please pop them in the chat room, and we really hope that we can have a bit of an interactive experience here today. So great. Because we're all online and we're all joining together here in cyberspace, Will, could you say a little bit about whereabouts in the world you're located today?
Yes, I'm in the offices of the Center for Studies of the Person in San Diego, La Jolla, California, in the United States. That's where I am. It's not a sunny day, but everything else is beautiful in San Diego this day.
So you don't have sunshine. I mean, it looks very, yeah,
Right.
yeah, it looks very bright behind you. We're in Scotland, and it's been quite cloudy today, and starting to get chilly with the autumn coming in. So,
We're in late summer here.
wow. Okay, I guess we're separated by quite a few thousand miles, so it's great to be connected like this.
Yes, it is.
So to get started on our interview, Will, could I ask you a little bit about your professional journey to now? A little bit about your background?
Sure. I have a Doctor of Philosophy degree in anthropology, and I did most of my field work in Latin America, in various places in Mexico. And my particular interest was on interpersonal behavior within a context of cultures other than my own. So I was interested in psychological aspects of anthropology and the cultural differences and the personal differences and how people became a person in a different culture. And then I was attracted to work here at the Center for Studies of the Person, which seemed to be the claim at that time, at least, and maybe some people still claim it, is that the person-centered approach appeals to people of all cultures. And I didn't believe that claim, and I still think it's a little bit off, but I was attracted to the work that was being done here, and I came here on a postdoctoral fellowship, and but I mostly did not work. I mean, became colleagues with Rogers and all the other people that were here at that time. And most of those people have moved on or died, and but the center continues, and with some of us originators here, and we continue to keep on doing our work. And I lost a little track there. By people being very accepting of me and in my own self-perceived quirkiness, people still said it was okay to be who I was. And I developed more about listening to myself than being only in opposition to the people who didn't want me to be who I was. And so it was sort of coming out of myself rather than pushing away other people. It seems to me that was an important part of my development. And I was a kind of rebel, as it were, when I came here. And I still have that streak, but I also don't. I also am quite content to be myself and let the chips fall where they may, and that's okay. And what I learned here, or what I got from people here in my early years, was that was okay to them too, that I would be that way, and that was very helpful to me.
That was
So
a good experience for you, being
yeah,
at the centre and
yes.
being experienced like that. How long have you been at the Centre for Studies?
uh, since 1969.
Wow. So that's quite a time, Will.
Yeah.
And I was really interested in what you were saying about when you arrived, you were really wondering about that claim that the person-centered approach is helpful for all cultures, and maybe you were unsure about that. Yeah.
Well, I still am. It's based on a philosophy or a thought that being is at the center of everything. That's a Western idea of being, and maybe we'll overcome everybody, and being will be the way that the rest of the world understands themselves. But that isn't necessarily how other people begin life or think in life. Or it's a cultural difference. I remember Carl coming back from China sometime, probably in the 1960s, and he was amazed that they didn't want to do they were not doing what he wanted them to do. Or he was very surprised at how the natural appeal of the person-centered approach did not appeal to those people that he was trying to deal with. So, and I just saw that. Well, of course, it's a cultural difference, and we're becoming more global. So things are exciting in how they change.
Yeah, but it sounds like that's something that an awareness that you've held, Will, that there's, in different cultures, we emerge into ourselves with different ideas about what that is, and the
Yes.
being at the centre is not true for all cultures.
Yes, I think that's true. Yes.
That sounds really interesting, yeah.
And even the differences between people in Britain and the people in the United States sometimes jump out at me, and we all have being at our center, but just the kind of collectiveness that seems more important to y'all than to us. We seem more like cowboys who are all on our individual horses going our individual ways, and there's a more sense of group that I experience in Britain.
Yeah. I think it's been interesting here in the UK in terms of the development of the approach and how appealing it can be. That kind of core philosophy. Yeah. I'm wondering. So, what does your work consist of now, Will? What kind of things are you doing in your present working life?
Well, I'm presently retired, mostly, which means I get to do all these projects that I've been holding off on for many years. My working life, I was working with people in organizations and consulting with folks at all levels of organizations to help them live their working life better. And I had an academic I have an academic career as well, teaching in universities. And I still teach one course a year, and my real present work is we have 4 DVDs of Carl Rogers doing therapy with different men in these kinds of interviews he did towards the end of his life, of demonstration interviews where somebody came out of the crowd and he talked to them for half an hour. And we've transcribed those very carefully and have had them translated into 7 different languages. And we're putting subtitles under this in these languages. And my technician said, "Oh, that's going to be easy," and it turns out that I'm the one who's doing all that. So it's taking me about a year to do these 7 languages on 4 subtitle tracks, but on 4 different videos. So that's what when I get up in the morning, that's what I head to do.